I have a concern. How is all the TSA workers not getting paid? Everybody's getting paid, but the TSA workers. I know there's a few other federal agencies in certain sectors, but for the most part, TSA is so that's not international airport. That's not travel. That's one of the travel logistics. We got to always have it open. The TSA are not getting paid. What's going on across America, man? This is crazy. This shutdown has to end. This has to end, really. What is your opinion? This is my opinion. I think they should get paid. I think Congress should come in and set a purse together for that because it's so important now with our population of citizens and travelers and tourists coming to the United States and what's happening in the world. We should have TSA workers being paid to do their job to keep us safe in the airway. And what I don't know how many tens of people that's left TSA, they're not working, they're not getting paid right now. They want these people to come to work. These Americans come to work and they got to pay bills and everything. Come on, guys, we got everybody don't have a savings. Everybody's savings is not like yours. We know these congressmen got big salaries, and they don't. TSA, you compare their salary to a TSA worker, it's totally different. You should have some kind of like understanding for these workers. And they're doing such an important job for the American people. They should have a budget set aside just in case of emergencies. But now they're in a shutdown and they can't get paid. What is your opinion? Let's find out what's going on. TSA security guards are quitting at a rapid rate. Uh, there's not that many people getting hired right now. What is your opinion? Let's find out what's going on. Leave a comment down below. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Sorry, guys.
Travelers across the country are facing the impact of the partial government shutdown as lengthy security lines at airports across the country cause travel chaos.
It was 3 hours and 45 minutes. So missed our flights. We're stuck trying to figure out what are we going to do now, trying to get another flight to our luggage is there, but we're not.
TSA security officers are sleeping in their cars now, afraid to call in sick and often relying on food donations as they're forced to work without pay. John Hubert is a TSA security officer at Miami International and the local union president and a father of 2 young boys. And he's doing everything he can to help his TSA colleagues by organizing food donation drives. And John Hubert joins me now for more on this. John, I appreciate your time here. And look, I know you're a father yourself. You've got a 6 and an 8-year-old, Zion and Zane. How has this shutdown impacted you?
Dramatically. Obviously, we have to think about aftercare and being able to pay the daycare and all this kind of stuff for our children. And it's really difficult to be able to juggle that at the same time having to go back to work and take care of the traveling public. This is a bad situation for the TSA workforce.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, we know that a lot of TSA workers got their first zeroed out paycheck this past week. You got spring break, which is coming up, and also April 1st, right around the corner. So what are you hearing from your colleagues that are worried about paying rent?
Well, a lot of the officers right now, they're extremely stressed out. They're calling me, asking me for assistance, as much help as the union can do for them. But still, we can only do but so much. Congress needs to hurry up and get us paid.
Yeah. Well, and so talk to us about why and how you started this food drive to help your colleagues.
Well, basically, I felt that as a union president, I need to be able to assist the workforce immediately. What we've been doing so far is hitting every single airport by providing food, lunch, anything that we could possibly, gift cards, gas cards, things like that. Just to ease the pressure a little bit, because coming to work every day is a decision now. It's not like I was before. A lot of things that are happening right now, we don't have to deal with on a regular basis. Now we have to make concessions. Fill our gas tank up, don't pay this bill, So the gas bill, all of the things are starting to compile at this point, so it's almost a breaking point.
Yeah, well, and listen, there was a shutdown last year, that record 43-day long one. But I'm curious, how is this go around different than the first shutdown?
Well, the creditors are not as forgiving because we had like a letter that the agency would supply to us to be able to submit to them to let them know that we're in a furlough and we're not being paid. But the creditors are not even paying attention to those notices anymore. So the eviction notices are coming out. People's cars are being repoed. These things are not, I guess it's because it's a partial shutdown and not every single agency is affected. It's only a short few, so not a lot of people know about it, which ironically enough, we've been trying to get the word out there as much as possible that the TSA is not getting paid. A lot of people in America don't know that the officers are operating with no pay,
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm curious. I mean, what is your biggest fear at this point?
This is crazy, guys. These American workers are not getting paid. They're getting eviction notice. They're getting repos on their vehicles. This is stressful. To come to a stressful position with all the holidays coming up, with spring break and these college students flying every which way across the Americas. And these people are suffering. And since it's not a full shutdown, as the officer said, they are actually experiencing less support and less positive reinforcement from the other institutions like credit bureaus and credit people that they're supposed to pay, and they got a letter from their organization that says hand it to them, but they're not really too forgiving for that, as this officer said. And so, as he stated earlier, they're getting receiving eviction notices and repos of their vehicles. That's some people are like they're working at their job, they're sleeping in the cars. Sometimes they got to sleep in the car because they got to protect it. The possibility of allegedly, it said it's allegedly, and I can imagine people surviving. You don't want to get out your car because somebody might try to come and tow it if you ain't made the payment on it. So you got to get to work too, So it's like, well, darn if you do, darn if you don't, So we got to get these people. Congress got to get these people back to work, get them a paycheck, get them back to being able to pay their basic bills. Everybody don't have a wherewithal savings. Everybody don't have a backdrop just live on. These people are paycheck to paycheck, foot to mouth. And they need support. And I'm glad this young man is out here as a union president, out here doing what he can to support. But as we know, unions only could go so far themselves. And as he stated earlier, this is not a full shutdown. It's a shutdown for them. Every department is not shut down. So they're not. Every department is not getting paid. Some departments are getting paid. Just TSA is not getting paid, and this is a major organization that works for the government, for the international, for the airports, and for American people servicing us. So we need these people here. Congress should. What do you think Congress should pay for them? Congress should put a budget, start a budget, since this has been happening frequently, as he said. Since it's a partial shutdown, a lot of these agencies, it just happened 6 months to a year ago, or previous one. So what do they supposed to do? These landlords, owners, they want to get paid too, and they're not going to sit there when they know they got somebody to rent the building or whatever and be able to pay it. It's a great way to get out of the contracts, but that's sad. They have to live like that. So what is your opinion? Think the government support the TSA workers with their funding or not? What is your opinion? Leave a comment down below.
My biggest fear is putting these officers in a tough situation while we have to concentrate on the job of security and securing the national skies, because really TSA has been successful in preventing any terrorist acts on the airplane, in the airport, anywhere. And we've been 100% successful in doing that. But we cannot be distracted by all of these things, not being able to pay our bills. It's hard to sleep sometimes because you think about, man, I got to pay this bill. I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay it. Maybe I could depend on family. Maybe I could depend on some friends, but it's not going to last forever. The stress points are like being broken every single day. You have to make a choice every day when you have to come into work.
Yeah, and certainly it's even compounded by the fact of going to work and knowing that you're not necessarily going to receive a paycheck. John Hubert, I appreciate your time.
Yes, you're welcome.
What's the fastest way to go viral right now?
This was a very important for us to see. I think this was very important for us to see, understanding what's going on in our economy. I think it's not necessarily that we're losing our positions, the people that are quitting their jobs, but they are really suffering. They're really going through TSAs across the countries, and as you said, they protect terrorist threats, airplanes, airports. We need them to be comfortable and vigilant. We don't need them to be worried about what's going on. I feel like this is being set up to a certain extent to have this happen. This is the feeling. It's not necessarily true. It's not true. But we need to work with our TSA security officers to help them to keep them vigilant at the forefront of what's going on in the world, at airports across the nation. We want to make sure our citizens are safe, protected, and know that there's nothing negative going to happen on the airplane or at the airport. So let's find a way to support these TSA agents. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. I didn't really think in detail about the possible terrorist threats, the possibility if they're not focused or they don't show up for work, and the ones that are there are stressed out and they can't see everything, because when you have 6, 7 people and you only got 2, they got to cover the other 5 spaces, and they can't. So they get overloaded with passengers coming in. They can't pay attention to every little detail. They're doing their best, but they might miss something, and we don't want that at the airports, especially in America. United States of America. I don't know about other countries. I'm a citizen of America. So, what is your opinion? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Should the TSA agents get paid, or should they not?